All right, welcome to today's stream, and yeah, welcome to the fourth ChessFM Blitz Open. Sorry for the delays. There were some minor technical issues, which hopefully have now all been resolved. Now, for those of you who have managed to join, have paid, and have decided to support my initiative, thank you all very much. And for those who haven't yet joined, well, let me know right now in the comments. Send me a message on WhatsApp, and we'll get things done. All right. So you have the tournament link, which I've already put in the WhatsApp group, and you can join. The tournament link and the password are in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, and you will be able to join it. And once you have entered the tournament, so what you'll see is this. Once you've joined the group, you will see this screen. So when you're at this screen, what you want to do is you want to go to the tournaments tab, click here. So click on this. Yeah, so I'm going to go back and show you again. Go to the tournaments tab here and click this button. And you want to click this, and you want to click this green button that says join. Yeah. So you click join, and you will be entered in the tournament. And then all you have to do is to wait until the tournament starts. And I'm going to redraw myself because I won't be playing. But definitely you want to stay in the tournament. You do not want to redraw. Okay? And you have to do this, otherwise you won't be paired for round one. Okay? And there's no other way for me to add you in. You will have to join yourself. Now, my apologies about the late start. I was not planning to start at this time, but it is what it is. We're going to start at 8:20. Yep, so obviously I still have to approve some join requests, so yeah, that's the reason why. My apologies for the late start. It was not my intention, but I'm glad that everybody was able to join at the end, and I hope that we have a smooth event without any issues, okay? I have now closed the Google Forms, so entries are now officially closed. Thank you all very much for supporting my initiative. I believe there are 54 of you here, and yeah, thank you all very much for supporting this tournament. Okay, so yeah, for those who haven't already joined, as usual, click this green join button. I'm going to show you one more time. You want to click this button right here that says join. Click it, and you will have joined. All right, and yeah, just join it and don't leave tournament. All right, and stay online, because if you're not online, you won't be paired. All right, so 3 more minutes to start. Well, I wish you all the best, and I wish you all a very successful tournament, and I'll see you at 8:20. And by the way, if you have any questions, type it in the chat right now, because we are going to start in 3 minutes. And after we start, I'm not going to be answering any more questions. So yeah, please let me know right now. Okay? And I'm going to take a break off stream, and I'm going to be back at 8:20. All right, welcome back. As some people mentioned, I actually forgot to withdraw myself. Thank you very much for reminding me. Yeah, that would have been really embarrassing if somehow, I ended up getting paired in round one. And obviously, I wouldn't be able to play because, as an organizer, yeah, can't really play, right? So that's the thing, all right? So, yeah, I think round one should have started. The games should be starting right now. Yeah. Sorry, 1 second. I think there might be some issues. Just give me a second, alright? We're going to start right now. Alright, we are back and the rounds have officially started. Yep. I know this wasn't the smoothest event. My sincere apologies for that. Yeah. It was not my plan to start late and yep. I can only apologize. But we have finally started and well we have what is I believe some sort of Karo Khan. Okay. So it's this knight c6 line, and yeah, black has gone for e6, which is slightly unusual, and this seems like a particularly passive version of the Caro-Kann. In fact, it looks like a French defense gone a little bit wrong. So I think athletes having quite a comfortable position. b5, wow, very brave. Simply knight c5. Yeah, I think white has a very comfortable position, and certainly he's gonna have very good chances. So we're gonna go back, and yeah, these Indonesians, they're usually very good in these tournaments. So we have LAN VCP, yeah, Aji Bagus Wijaksono. Sorry, I know I'm butchering his name, but yeah, it's been one of the most loyal supporters of this tournament. So thank you, RG. Oh, I guess it's no surprise he's a loyal supporter given how much he's won from it. Yeah, he has won, I believe, the past two editions, which is really an amazing achievement. And let's see if he can make it a hat trick of victory. Now, this will be my last tournament in a while, so, he could be, if he wins this, he's gonna be reigning champion for a very long time. Okay, the question is now, can black take on f3? And that looks like an interesting idea. Well, I can't make the moves, only RG can, and only RG can decide whether that's a move that's worth playing. For me, I don't think it is. Yeah, but okay, black has some small problems here. For instance, that pawn on d5 could be slightly loose, but anyways, nothing too dramatic, because b2 is gonna hang. So you could drop your bishop back, and then grab the pawn on b2. That's absolutely fine. Yeah. And I think black is doing very well. Okay. Wait, it was white to move. Wow. So he could have taken this guy. What was gonna happen? What was gonna happen after this? Oh, it's bishop h6. Oh, that's clever. Yeah, and then maybe it does turn out very well for black after all. Okay, so after rook e1, okay, black has the two bishops, and this should be very comfy for him. Bishop f5, interesting. So he's allowing queen takes d5, and well, I think that's something white probably should do. I mean, white's suffering, and he should at least have some material for his suffering. But he doesn't. He decides to play king d1, and yeah, it's looking... Yeah, now it's looking really good for black. He plays d4. White probably has to play something like knight d5, but not great. I mean, knight d5. No, knight d5, queen e6. That knight could be in trouble. So, not sure where this knight's gonna go. If he goes back to e2, there could be some d3 ideas. Yeah, d3 takes, and yeah, but maybe black doesn't want to go for the endgame. Yeah. Queen v6. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. You're hitting this pawn. I guess v3 is sort of forced. I don't see what else white can play. And then maybe white can do some. Black can do something like c5, consolidating his position. Yeah, it's looking good for black. Okay, so we're predicting a win there. Wow, there's been a lot of changes here in the athlete game. Athlete's another Indonesian. This tournament is just full of Indonesians, and yeah, interestingly enough, he's taken on d4. Can white not take that knight? Can also consider knight g5. That's why he's thinking. But it looks good, right? Bishop takes d4. Oh, no, it's not. You can play bishop takes d4, yeah? And you can insert bishop takes f2. And I think black has calculated this correctly, yeah? Or has he? Because there is e6 at the end. So maybe his plan is to meet it with d4. That's going to be really epic. So rook takes c7. Black needs to insert bishop takes f2, I believe. Yeah, because if you play rook takes c7, maybe you still can play rook takes c7. And if we take, then you take on f2. That also seems to work out. Yeah. And if bishop takes d4, then black can insert this move. Queen takes. So rook takes c1, and after queen takes, he can then take back on d4. Rook takes c7, bishop takes f2, of course. You cannot go to f1 because of mate with bishop d3, so that's why king h1. Queen takes, e6, and I guess black's idea will be to play d4. There's no other move to stop mate, and that's exactly what it does. Okay, you know, black is playing really nice chess. Yeah, very nice chess. And there's a pawn up. Maybe this might be the start of a very nice upset. Bishop e3, queen e5 with a very naughty threat. But okay, black can defend this. Black can defend against this in a number of ways, but not that way. Was that a mouse slip? Well, whatever that wasn't the right way. And now, white's gonna win. Let's move on to the next game. It's not interesting anymore. Well, what else do we have? We have actually an Indian participant. I think this is the first time we have had a player from India join our tournament, Kumar Manglam. So welcome to the ChessFM community. And he seems to be doing well. I think an attack might be incoming. That being said, white's position is still holding on for the moment. He can sort of play a move like rook f1 and hang on to these pawns and maybe go for some sort of minority attack. That seems like a logical idea. Yeah, I think that is probably what's going to happen. Now, the queenside pawns are going to start to push. Bishop f3. Now, I guess it's time to push these pawns. Now, black's attack is strong. Don't get me wrong. It's very strong attack. But really, white doesn't really have a great way to defend against this. In fact, actually, I think white's position might be quite bad. Because now, actually, the h pawn goes. Yeah, and that will give black a pretty nasty attack. Also, another idea could be to put the queen on h3 and put the rook to h5. So white had better start going with his pawns, otherwise it's going to be very bad. No, rook h1 isn't right now. It's just simply too passive. You cannot play so passively and hope to survive. Now I think Kumar is winning in a number of ways. Could push the h pawn, that seems like the easiest to me. But, oh, and he does that. Now, I think this is really good for black. Definitely expecting a black win here, given his strength. Now, we've got some strong players here. We have You Know Nothing, who's back again. Yes, and almost ironically, I know nothing about this guy. Yeah, I know he's played in my tournament before, but I really can't recall anything. I might even know who he is, but I just don't recall the name, which I think is amusing. Let's see if there are any other guys. Well, we've just seen this guy, and he's cruising. How's RG doing? Well, RG has won. That's expected, I reckon. Are there any more games ongoing? Well, there's Ritesh. Ritesh, obviously one of our most talented young players. And yeah, yesterday he had a mixed event, let's just say. As did I. It was not the best tournament for either one of us, but such is life. Okay, So yeah, Ritesh has got a very sound position. He's of course got his pawn to h6, which is always something that the engine likes in these lines, because the pawn on h6 is always very annoying. That being said, Black has escaped into an endgame, and he can think about developing his bishop with some sort of e6, bishop e7. So yeah, still a lot of play left in the position. I gotta say I like white because of the two bishops. Yeah, and yeah, it looks good for white. But other than that, yeah, black's relatively solid. So don't expect anything too special. Okay, let's see if there's anything else going on. Well, some of the games are extremely one-sided. So I guess really only interesting game is the Ritesh game. So we're gonna stick with that. But there's Young as well against TL Chung. Okay, so yeah, Young looks like he's doing very well indeed. But his opponent is actually another underdraw player. By the way, Young, if you guys don't know, is one of Malaysia's best underdraw players. Very, very, very solid player. Extremely talented. I would say same talent, similar talent to, someone like Poi Tian or Kevin, yeah, or Anderson. Yeah, and actually, if he were to play more opens, I think his rating could get a lot higher. He's already about 1850, and I think he will keep going up. Knight h4. So TL is actually another underdraw player, and he's a crazy attacker. He just loves to attack his opponents. Yeah. So okay, we have, in a sense, the irresistible force against the immovable object. Yeah, I'm surprised Ring has allowed f5. Maybe he's seen everything. Plays knight takes e5. Yeah, and he played it fast, so clearly it planned that. So I guess the plan is to play e takes f5 now, and then knight's defended as well. Oh, he takes on d3. Oh, this is very brave. Considering he's allowing white to do something like f takes g6. No, it takes back. And now I guess you can take back. Oh no, but the rook is hanging. Oh dear. So this is getting very unclear. F takes g6, king f8. Okay, this is a total mess. Now, queen f2. Oh, the rook's under attack. It's easy to miss. Rook d6. Well, Royong's actually a pretty good defender, as you can see, even with very limited time. But this one looks like a real task. I mean, his king is completely open. I think it's time for e takes f7, knight g6. I think white's winning some material. He's not winning a crazy amount, but he's going to be an exchange up, and this should be enough to win. Although that being said, the black pawns are going to start running, and this is going to start to discredit. Like, I don't know why he's playing h3. He should have just pushed the h1, h4, h5. White needs to try to get the pawn through. The whole point is that the rooks are just so much better at supporting the passed pawns than the bishop. And that's what white should be using. Bishop a6. Okay, so he's blocking the path of the rook, and he's threatening to push. Now, white's doing... I don't know what white's doing, but what he's doing is probably not right. Now that pawns are going to start to run. Rook b6. Not sure that was necessary. I think you could push a4 right away. But the plan is very simple. He's going to try to push the pawn all the way through. Rook c7. I don't see the point. Bishop b5. Oh yes, there was rook d7 checkmate. That's why. Very nicely spotted by Rayong. Now rook a7. And I think it's time to push the pawn. b3. Oh, that seems to work as well. Rook takes a5, b2. So now rook f2 and a4, and these pawns are starting to run. Next move is going to be something like bishop c6, and the pawn is going to start moving. a3, b2. How is white going to stop these pawns? I think it's completely impossible. You can't stop the b pawn, rook f1, and now we can take and play a2. Oh no, it's queen, but that's also winning a2 and queens. And finally, black has managed to win. What an epic game. I think white should have tried to push his fast pawns faster, because of course, even though white was material up, but it's a race, and in a race you have to be fast or you're going to lose. Alright, let's move on to the next round. I think we're going to see some interesting games starting from this round. By the way, there are only 8 rounds today. I've changed the format slightly, and the response wasn't quite as good, so maybe I'll go back to the 3+2. Yeah? Okay, let's see what are there any interesting games. So we have Athlete, who has played the Scandi, knight f3, bishop g4. Now knight f3 is of course a very trendy line nowadays, because a lot of people don't want to go for the knight c3 main lines, and the knight f3 bishop e2 line is very, very solid. The point is that you're going to castle, play d4 and c4, and get a nice center. And that's the gist of this line. Knight f6 castles. I plays bishop e3. So what's delaying castles for now? I don't think it makes a big difference. D6 now he's probably going to castle. He's going to play H3. He's going to maybe try to play Queen D2, Rook D1. Well, maybe not. He's going to play B4. At least that's what he's indicating. And after Queen E7, I think he's certainly going to push the B pawn. I don't see what else he's going to do. Yeah, he plays B4 indeed. A5, attacking the pawn on B4. Okay, this is very principled play because black, but it's also of course a bit risky because black hasn't yet castled, and of course white's going to play b5. That's the principled response, and we'll see, is black going to take the risky option and grab that pawn on a3? You know what? I think he probably should do it because yes, he may not have fully developed, but castles is going to come very quickly, and that bishop isn't going to get into trouble because it can always go back to the b4 square. So I think in his shoes, I would definitely grab that pawn. Now, what is he going to do? Let's see. Well, he decides to take a more modest approach, castling, but now this allows white to play something like a4 or even c5. Okay, he takes on c6 first, so he retains all the options. Black doesn't have much of a choice. He must take on c6 now, because the knight on d7 is hanging, so he can't leave it there. What's he thinking? Is he thinking of moving the knight? I mean, that doesn't really make any sense, does it? Well, it's got to take back, right? Surely. Other moves don't make sense. Yes, so it's taken back. And Queen a4, hitting the pawn on c6. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I guess black probably can consider a move like c5. I guess white's plan is to play d5 in that case. ed, cd5, and yeah, I think white's got a decent position. But of course, that pawn could be a little bit weak. That being said, I don't see how you can really exploit it. Maybe you, after d5 you take and you play something like knight e5. So you then, I mean, the point is that if knight e5, queen e5, now you start to target this h2 pawn, which could be a bit of an issue for white. Sorry about the mess of arrows. I know I can be a bit messy in that respect. So, yeah, it remains to be seen what white does here. Well, that's... I mean, actually, white can allow black to take on d4. That's another thing. He can play something like rook d1 and take back with a bishop, for instance. That's also a possibility. He can play knight b5 and take back with, I don't know, the f knight even. Yeah, he has a lot of ideas. I'm not sure which one is best. So he plays rook f to d1. I guess black probably... He probably should take it at some point. But he decides not to do it right away. He plays rook f to d8. But there's no reason to hurry also, because... yeah, if white didn't play d5 the move before, then it's probably not going to play it right now. Not to mention ed, cd, knight e5 looks like a very decent option for black. So knight b5, white is forcing black's hand. I think now black has to take, and as I say that, he doesn't take. So what do I know? But can white not play d takes c5 now? Because obviously after d takes c5, you cannot take back because your rook hangs. You play rook d8 and you take that knight. So what's black gonna do? Because the immediate threat is c6, c7, winning a piece. So black needs to do something right now, but what is he going to do? It's not so clear. Black bishop on b8 is blocking everything. Yeah, if that bishop was not on b8, you can even take back on c5. But now black is in trouble. What is he going to do? I'm not sure what he can do. He plays rook c8, so he's hitting that pawn. Okay, that's a good try, because now black wants to take back. Of course, there are no more issues. The rook on c8. And I guess c6 is not possible because what black can take it and there are no discoveries. Knight d6 makes, of course, a lot of sense because now, of course, white has a strong knight on d6, you know, and obviously taking on d6 is not possible. White can take back cd6 with a fantastic d pawn, but then what you're gonna do? Rook c7 blocks everything, and well, you could try to play rook d8 and grovel in that sense. Maybe that's the best you have, really. It's not ideal, but what can you do? But rook d8, maybe there's knight b7. Rook c8, and now white's not going to repeat, but he's going to push the pawn to c6, I believe. And that could be annoying. Rook c7, this looks so artificial. It cannot be right. Now, this must be excellent for white. But it's not that easy still. Knight c5 is still a threat. And it's something that black has, and something that white needs to deal with. So, how is he going to deal with that? I could try something like queen b5, for instance. Wow, he plays c6. This is some very nice play. So, if knight f8, what's his plan? He wants to play bishop b6. Oh, that is Nasty. That is really a nasty move. That is nasty. And what else are you gonna do? I don't see really any other great options. Knight moves don't make any sense. I mean, the other moves don't make any sense, and the knight moves don't look good. So I think black is in serious trouble in this position. Can he escape? Well, the Indonesians are very good at escaping from very bad situations. So we will see. Bishop takes f3. I don't see the point. What happens if bishop takes f3? Oh, he's going to play knight e5. Right, so that is an interesting idea because now knight takes f3 check is an idea. So this is very interesting plan. Bishop b6. Wow, this is very brave. So white's just ignoring this threat of knight takes f3. He just says, okay, go for it. I'll take back. And the rook's still trapped. And the fact is that the white king is actually quite a bit weak with this structure, but the bishop can't really come into play. Because also after bishop takes c7, they will always have the move c5 cementing that knight. Knight e8. I don't really quite get this. What's the idea? I guess after knight takes e8, he's planning some sort of knight takes f3, g takes f3, and I don't know, a rook c8? Is that the plan? No, he plays queen takes e8. Now white's gonna take. Black probably should take the bishop now. But I mean, it looks bad. Maybe you could consider even taking back. But maybe white wouldn't let you take the bishop now. I could play something like bishop e4 even. And that looks nice. Nice is an understatement. In fact, after bishop c7, I found another brilliant move. You can play rook d7. Because you can't take because the rook hangs. At the risk of overdoing myself. Because of course there could be ideas like rook a7. Renewing the threat of knight takes d7. Well, it goes for the simple bishop e4. Oh, I think I know what's going to happen. f5 is going to be met by this. Is that the idea? But then there's rook a7, so maybe it's still not that good. Maybe the bishop should just go back to normal square, like c2. I mean, rook d7 looks really fancy, but rook a7 is like, oh, maybe this is good. Takes and queen takes a5. Wow, what's going on there? Queen d8 takes, but then you get the bishop as well. So I'm not sure that that's actually that good. Yeah, a lot of options, most certainly, and we will see which one white decides to choose. I think even if white chooses a very simple option like bishop c2, it must be good for white. Knight g4 isn't a big deal. You can simply play h3, and white's retaining all of the advantages in the position. And if you play knight takes c6, well, you're going to get the pawn back, but your stuff is going to be pinned, and obviously you don't want to go into an endgame because that would suck. But then what are you going to do? It's not so clear what black should be doing actually. So bishop c2, what can black do? He can play something like knight g4, but then h3. We've already mentioned that. So what else can he do? He can play, what can he play? He can play knight c6, but then yeah, he can play knight c6, but then it doesn't look right. Queen h5 hits the pawn h2. Guess white will just play h3. Wait, h3, maybe there's this knight f3 idea, and if it takes, then queen takes h3. But maybe you just do h3, and after knight f3, you play king h1, and say that there's no way to continue. Although you will have to be a bit worried about queen h4 followed by queen f4 ideas. Actually, knight f3 looks like a very decent idea. Knight f3, I think you gotta do it. What else are you gonna do? Queen takes h3. I don't really see an immediate defense to this, because all of white's pieces are very far away from the king, so it makes sense that such ideas could work. But of course, we have to see what happens. I don't think white can take it. So knight after king h1, and then try something like queen h4. It looks very scary. If I was white, I would be very scared. Oh, I think I see what white can do. White can play the move c5 in response to that, because the queen is defended by the bishop after all. So yeah, after c5, white offers the trade of queens, and that will stop the attack. So actually, maybe it's not that scary. Knight f3 check is played. I guess white needs to move the king, because if you go to f1, then knight h2 check is at least a repetition. King g1 and knight f3 back, and we have a draw. So white has to play king h1 if he's going to try to play for a win, which he absolutely should. And well, actually now I'm thinking of it, queen h4, c5, queen takes f2 is the possibility. Because if you play something like rook f1, then I have queen g3. You clear rook d7, then I have queen g3 as well. Wow. How do you actually deal with this? Yeah? White has to move the king, actually. You can't take that knight. That wouldn't make sense. And now I guess queen h4 just makes a lot of sense. Knight g5, I'm not sure. I think white can play rook d3 now. Get the rook to the defense. And in that way, I think the attack seems to be parried. It's not so clear still. Queen b3 makes a lot of sense as well. So you're defending that pawn on h3. But maybe this allows black to play f4. Maybe there could be some chances with f3 coming up. Or maybe that's his plan. After f4, he's going to play rook d3. Okay, rook f8. So the plan is to just jam the f pawn through and hope for the best. But does that work? Because white is going to counterattack with some of like rook d7. That's exactly what he does. Bishop e5. And now what's going to happen? Can white just push the pawn? He plays rook e1, hitting the bishop. That makes perfect sense. What's he supposed to do? Bishop e4. No, this cannot be right. We have to take it, that's for sure. And I don't think it's possible to continue with the attack. Although you have to be careful. Rook f3 is an idea. So maybe you need to grab that pawn. Rook takes e4. And I don't think you can take on f2. Oh, maybe you can. Queen e3. Is there rook f3? What's going on there? What happens after rook f3? He plays rook f4. Okay. So now c7 looks like it's completely winning. Yes, unstoppable this. Rook d8. Okay, and this is good. It simplifies the winning endgame. You just take on e4. And this is an easy win. Easy win. This is very good technique. Very practical. And this is what you want in Blitz. You don't want the fastest win. You want the surest, the easiest win. And that's what's gonna bring you victory. Especially if you have many options like this and all of them are good. Yeah. And now you can just push the pawn, you can play rook d1, you can play whatever. You can also play fancy with that. Yeah, that also works. This is overkill. F takes e5. Yeah, just don't play e6. Any move but e6 is good. Even king g1 is fine. Rook e3 is fine. Yeah, queen g5. Yeah. And now, well, now anything's king. I'm going to start to push the pawn. King h2. I'm not sure about putting the king on the same diagonal as the bishop. But it is also winning. Everything here is winning. Except rook g3, of course. But anything else is winning. c5, you push the pawn to c6. That's very convincing. And then you can play queen d4 and come in with the queen. And that's going to be crushing. Queen c4 is the easiest. King e7 and just bring the queen back to d4. Rerouting it to the d7 square. Okay, black's going to repeat. There's nothing else black can do. Yeah, queen c4 is right, and then you bring it back. You can bring it to d4. Yeah, there we go. And d7 is coming up. Queen d7 is coming. Yeah, queen f5. Now, I think I would just go for the endgames. Queen d7, just such an easy win. Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah. And now you just be careful, don't play king g1. Yeah, exactly, because of bishop b6. Very alert. White understands that's his idea. And black's defending like a lion, but it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough for this. King f2, and the plan is actually very easy. You just bring the king all the way to the queen side, and then at the right moment, you just grab that pawn and go for, and the pawn endgame will be winning. So there's not really any hope for black, which is the unfortunate part of this tale. Okay, king e5. So black is defending tenaciously, but I think now it's time to bring the rook and chase the bishop. See, exactly, that's what he does. He puts the rook on c8, and he's going to chase the bishop away in that way. And now actually white has a very nice technique to win it. So king takes a5, and now you don't want the king to come in. Let's see if he finds the right move. Yes, he does. Rook c3, an excellent move. Cutting off the king. Now you can play check on f3, and then play king b5, and you win by hand. It's not even close. King b7. Now the pawn starts to run. King a6. Now white's going to push that pawn all the way to glory, and there's nothing black can do about this. This is some great technique from white. I have to say, this is a very impressive game from the white side. Black is trying for some h3 ideas, trying to exploit some sort of pre-move, but it's not going to work. King b5 and a6, a7 is going to queen that pawn, and a7. Black is desperately trying to get some stalemate traps in, but I don't see how that could ever work, given that he still has a bishop. Yeah, king e6. Now you give a check on e3. It's going to be made in 2 moves or something. Okay, maybe not 2 moves, but, 3 or 2, what difference does it make in practice, right? Yeah. And finally, black resigns. Actually, a great game by white. I think it's just some absolutely fantastic technique some technique I would be proud of, I'll be honest with you. So here we are. We are only 2 rounds down. I know we started really late and it appears that we are going to finish late. So my apologies for that. Alright. So let's go on to the next game. So we have Lan against Tamil Chelvan. D4, F6, C4, G6. Okay. Lan loves the King's Indian, as do most Indonesians. In fact, I always say when you play Indonesian, you can betcha that they either play the King's Indian or they play the Slav. They don't have a third opening. Well, I mean, if they get stronger, like they become like 2450 or they become grandmasters, then you'll see them playing more openings. But for most of the other players, even like the FMs and IMs, they usually play either the King's Indian or the Slav. Yeah, no exceptions there. Like C6 castles and E5. Okay, so we have one of these lines of the King's Indian, where it's Bishop G5, Bishop H4 lines. I honestly don't think White's position is anything special. But that being said, I feel like White has got sort of what he wants from this opening, which is a safe position where he can play on. That being said, I don't think Black should be worried about this. What? Oh, there's knight f4. Is that right? There is knight f4. Yeah, I think he had to. Yeah, this was not right. Yeah. Okay, now White's lost. Black grabs the bishop, and the two pieces are just too strong. Because another thing is that two pieces can't really, the rook can't really fight with the pieces if the pieces have, strong open lines, which they do, and nice outposts like the square on d4. And in this case, Black has literally everything he could ask for, and this is going to be an easy win. Right. Let's check out Ritesh. How's he doing? Ritesh is on 2 out of 2, and he's up against the great player, Pawn Pusher. We just saw how great his technique was in the previous game. So great, even I'm impressed. Bishop c2, and I guess Ritesh's idea is to push the e pawn to e5. That's the only idea of White, right? By the way, I realized Ritesh likes to play this really, really close position. Seems like this suits his style, and he's got actually very good results from it. Especially considering he plays mostly other kids who hate playing these type of positions. In that sense, he is the exception to the rule. Like, he's a kid that loves close positions, loves positional play. In a sense, he reminds me a little bit of myself when I was a kid, because I was a very similar player to him. I was a purely positional player before I realized that didn't actually work, to get past 2200. Okay, bishop c8. So his idea is to go bishop g4, right? That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Okay. Yeah. White takes on e5. That makes sense as well. D takes e5. Now what? Play queen f3. Okay. So d6 is an idea. Yeah. You could also think of playing something like queen g3 and going for some sort of f4. Well, that's of course double-edged. You do have to watch out that Black doesn't get the move e6 in and takes a d5. But for now, I don't think that's too big of an issue, because we at least have a move like e4. Yes, Black could blockade on d6, but yeah, it should be still quite playable for us. Actually, now maybe could be a very nice time for something like queen g3. Yeah, because especially since this pawn is pinned, this rook is hanging. So that seems like a logical idea to me. Let's see what it goes for. In the meantime, we'll check out the other games, see what else is going on. See if there are any other interesting matchups, and if there are, then we can cover them. How about Rayong? How's Rayong doing? Well, it's always hard to evaluate such positions, no? Well, Black is in a risky situation because, he cannot castle. At least not, it doesn't seem he can castle. How is he going to castle with that queen on that diagonal? He can play even queen a3. Yeah, maybe his ideas of the queen a3 is going to play a5, looking for queen b4 ideas. But I mean, White can still play something like bishop d2. So it's not like, he's getting the castle or anything. Which to me looks very risky. I'm not sure that I'm not sure White can play for a win, because whenever he moves his queen along this diagonal, Black will offer the queen trade. But I guess White shouldn't be too averse with a draw, considering that the opponent is actually a higher rated player. He goes bishop d2, but I'm not sure about this, because I feel like in the end game, the fact that Black can't castle isn't that big of an issue, because you can play something like, okay, rook c1 is threatening rook c7, but bishop c6 is absolutely right, covering the c file. Now Black's next moves will be king d7, rook c8, and maybe bishop b5 in some order. And yes, White will have some drawing chances with these opposite bishops, but I don't think he's getting more than a draw. So I think White is overpressed in a sense. I think White should have just taken the repetition in something like queen a3, because it would be too risky for Black to try to play on in that case. But now, yeah, now I'm not so sure. Bishop d6, king d7. I mean, you could try something like b4, but I'm just in time with rook c8. If I could get b4, b5 in one move, it would be a different story. But there's no way I can do that. Not according to the current rules of chess. Maybe Arkady is going to do something about it. Yeah. As the Russians like to do, they like to change the rules in their own favor. And maybe Arkady is going to do something like that as well. Rook c8 and bishop a4 is going to come up, I guess. What else is going to happen? Or you could even try something like bishop b5, bishop c4, and then like double on a c file. You could also think of activating the rook this way. Black's position looks fantastic. I think White has made a huge error, a huge judgmental error in deciding that this was the right position to go for. Okay, maybe you don't play rook h4, because then b5 could be an idea. But even something like bishop b5, putting a bishop on c4, then you can think of activating the rook. And that looks really, really good. So we'll see what White comes up with. So he's come up with rook e3. The idea is to play rook to c3. Makes perfect sense, of course. So maybe now it's time for bishop b5, because it feels like this is the last moment to do this. And after rook c3, put the bishop on c4. And this looks very safe. With the bishop on c4, how are you supposed to do anything about anything? Yeah. So the bishop on c4, like, everything's gonna be great. You see, this guy is a great positional player. He's a really good positional player. By the way, we have a slight delay, so these guys aren't really actually listening to me commentate live. Yeah, I feel about like 30 seconds delay. But yeah, we can see some really great chess here. Alright, we'll come back to this game. I'm predicting good news for Black. Well, here in the land BCP game, White has lost. He's a piece down after all. Let's see if there's anything else that's interesting. Well, there's a very interesting endgame between I've Changed and Scheifel Danish. So what is going on? Well, White has two bishops. He's got that protected pass on e5, which is not well blockaded. Yeah, White's just better. What else can I say? Can play rook d2, rook fd1. It's pretty and it's good. But the thing is that when you're playing these kits, it's really not easy to win. You can always get a good position. That's one thing that I always like to say, that when you play with these kits, you will always get a good position from the opening. But winning the good position, that's another story. Yeah, you can get the good positions, but actually winning them it's actually quite hard, because these kids, they don't like to lose. They're gonna defend tenaciously. Yeah, I think the best example of this is Akio Alaudin, because his openings are quite frankly terrible, but he's a great defender, great fighting spirit, and that's really what powers him through all his games. Okay, so White's gone for a very risky decision to take on c6 and go for knight d5. Now, actually, Black didn't have to take with the knight. He could have taken with the pawn instead, yeah? So controlling these squares. That also looked like an interesting idea. But maybe Black thinks that knight d5 is not a big issue. Well, I disagree with that. I think it's a very big issue. And, okay, bishop e6 now. I mean, this even I can win. Yeah? I take c7 and then just win everything. Even for me, yeah? No player like me. This one should be no problem. Okay, what else is that? Let's go back. Because this one is not interesting. See if anyone has won. So Land BCP has already won, but the rest, well, they're still going on. You know nothing is going on against Smurf. Smurf account is actually a decent player. Very, very solid. It's played in also almost all my tournaments. Also another one of my loyal supporters in that sense. And he's won a decent amount of prizes as well, and I guess that's what keeps people coming back. One thing I've realized is that those people who win prizes usually come back a lot, as you would expect. Yeah, because when you win prizes, you're gonna be happy. Who's not gonna be happy? I'll be happy. So queens, this actually looks like white has, put black in an impossible situation because you don't have any good squares for the queen, so you have to trade. But this endgame is lost. There is no other way to put it. It's just lost. Now you didn't even have to do that. You could just take on a7 right away, but of course it's still absolutely winning. You can play h3, jump with the king to e3, one step at a time, of course, and it should be winning. Slowly but surely. And that's the worst part about these endgames. It's like you know that they're lost, but it's hard to really do anything about them. Also, that knight on c8 could be dominated, so watch out. Knight e4, king g2, just protecting that pawn on g3. This is nice technique. Actually, black did well to put his knight on e4, because otherwise knight d6 could come. But now, actually, yeah. Now, he gets his knight to d6. So it still should be very good for white, but I don't think this is the cleanest way to do it. Because now black gets this passer on the e file, which maybe he could start to run. Maybe he can play e5 and try to push the pawn. I don't like the idea of putting a king on g6, because I'm not sure where the king's going to go, especially after a move like g4, which feels good. Yeah, because like, where's your king going to come? Is he going to play h6? Then what are you going to do? You have to go back and play king e6. Maybe there's no other choice. Okay, this is good. You gotta fix white's pawns to the dark squares, otherwise the white bishop's gonna come pick up all the other pawns. This is not so easy to win already, but the plan, I believe, will be to deflect these black pieces with the white pawns. So b4, by the way, bishop c5 is a threat. I guess you could go bishop c5 now and then push a4, b5. That looks very, very strong. I'm not sure what black's supposed to do about this. It looks completely dead. Because the thing is, once your knight goes away, then, exactly, that's the problem. The king starts to come, and that's gonna be dead. Yeah, you can even play bishop. You know what's funny? I think I can even just, like, give up my bishop. But why would I? I could play bishop d4. Well, he decides to do something like that. Oh, yeah. No, I think he had to try a5, but I could just go to g7, so it was dead. King e5. Okay, this is good technique. King c6, he's gonna grab. Or is this good technique? Well, it could go king d6 and and trap the king f7, right? That would have hell, right? Would that not have hell? I'm just curious. Let's check it. Let's check it. Uh, I want to check it real quick. King f7. Could he not do this? Maybe he could have held a. He could have held a game. Was this a draw? King d6 looks like a draw, no? See what the engine says. Is king d6 a draw? King d6 is a draw. Wow, crazy. Crazy game. And both players didn't see it. This is amazing. Right, let's see if any other games are ongoing. Yeah. Okay, so, well, Ryan's still playing, but he's crushing, so nothing to see here. And here, it also seems like there's nothing to see. That pawn is just gonna go straight through. King d5, and all these pawns are gonna drop. Bye-bye. So, let's go back. And yeah, I want to take a quick break, about a minute or so, and we'll be back ASAP. Alright, so don't go anywhere. See you very soon. Alright, we are back with some more games. So this is round 4. We jump straight to land VCP or yeah. So RG Vargus Wichat Sono. RG likes this E3 line, yeah. He likes this E3 lines. And he seems to score well with them. E5, and he gets the pawn to E6, and he's already winning material. So he's gonna win this game. RG is very clinical when it comes to winning positions. He doesn't mess around. So what else is there? This is not interesting. How's Rayon doing? Well, very symmetrical position. I don't think you would expect anything else really. He does enjoy these symmetrical positions. Okay, so oh, and he's up against Ritesh. I didn't even realize until now, but I think Ritesh has got a pretty decent position. He's got obviously very active pieces, but okay, I think this is very much in Rayon style. He's gonna play A3, kick the knight, and then he's gonna decide what to do. Which, fair enough. This is what it's what Rayon likes to do. Yeah. So what is Black going to do? Well, it's not so clear what Black can do. He's going to double on the c file. Play rook c7, try to double with rook fc8. Yeah, rook c7, maybe a3 is gonna come. Knight c6. Yeah, I mean, lots of ways to play. It's a complex position, and we'll come back to it when it gets more interesting. Let's see what else is going on. Ooh, that's almost made, yeah? Queen f7, rook g1 is coming up. This is almost made, but not quite. Oh, maybe it is. It is made, yeah? What is this guy? Manlimi Ansem. He's crazy, this guy. He's gonna score an upset. How is that possible? Wow, this is crazy. Well, Queen e7 is fighting. Yeah, it's not that easy to win this game. Well, knight g6, then bishop takes, and I guess he can play something like queen g7, and he's hanging on for now. So it's not that easy to continue. Yeah, maybe I spoke too soon. It's starting after all. I don't see a good continuation for white. And we'll see if he manages to find it, because I don't see anything for white, I'll be honest. Somehow it looks strong, but black just has enough defenders to hold a position. Maybe he has to go for something like knight g6, but okay, of course it's not something big or anything, but what else is he gonna do? He's gonna try that, yeah? Okay, so we'll come back to this game when it gets more exciting. So right now there's absolutely nothing going on. Yep, the Rayon game there's nothing going on either. How's Kumar going, our Indian player? Well, it's not the most flattering position, is it? The king f1, I guess rook c2 will need to be played at some point, because you can't, let the rook stay somewhere in the first rank. Or maybe he's ideas to go for some sort of discovery with some knight move. I don't know, knight c4 or something. Seems to me that knight c4 could be a threat. So we'll see. We'll see what white does. I think white has definite ideas here. h6, is that not allowing knight c4? Can play knight c4, right? Knight c4 maybe he's worried about rook d1. That's why he played king e2. But I don't see why he shouldn't have done it right away. Looked like a good move. Okay, we'll see. This one is gonna take some time. It's gonna be a long maneuvering game. Land BC PS1. He seems to have a talent for winning these games in like, what, 30 seconds or something. It's ridiculous. These are actually some very decent players, and he's crushing them like they're nobody. Okay, who else do we have? We have Titan against Tamil Shelvan. And yeah, it looks like a fair position, really. It's another normal position. The thing is that in a lot of these cases, in a lot of these positions, the problem piece for black is this bishop on b7. So maybe it would want to go to a6 at some point, and maybe try for a move like b5 as well. That could be something that black can play for. Yeah, other than that, I don't really see any other great plans for black in general. White's gonna get his knight to e5, and the play is very easy. So, black being the higher rated player is gonna be at least a little bit uncomfortable, because, it's not that easy for him to find a great plan of get any winning chances. But if you're playing such a position and you're the higher rated player, you don't really have much of a choice. You just have to sit tight and wait for your opponent to mess up, because it's gonna happen. And don't be too low on the clock, because if you're down on time, it's gonna be hard for you to put pressure on your opponent on the clock. And that's really one of the ways that you can use to squeeze out a win. So let's go back. This one is, I don't know where this one is going. What on earth is going on? Are we seeing an upset? How do you stop rook h3? Is it even possible? Because if you move the queen this way, then f6 hangs. If you move the queen along this file, like to b7, c7, then this pawn just drops for free. What do? You go queen h7, rook h3, queen f8. Okay, so he's finding some only moves here to hold on. Rook h3, king g7. Or maybe this just holds, yeah? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Queen d7, queen f7, and a very nice tactic. Let's see if white sees it. Very nice, but very simple. Yes, it's stuff you learn in your beginner classes, but we'll see. Because sometimes when you're playing a game, it's not that easy to find. Yeah. Now black's gonna lose his queen. That's all I will say. And for the rest of you, you can try to guess what it is. Oh, you guys probably saw it in 1 second, because you guys are good players. So, okay, we're gonna go back. That queen is gone. That's all I'm gonna say. Right. What else is going on? Okay, split queen f7. Okay, let's see if white finds it. Let's see if he finds it. Ah, he's gonna find it. He's found great moves this whole game. This is the easiest one. But if it takes too long before playing it, I might start to get a bit suspicious. So, we'll see. Also, like a 1400 crushing 2300 is suspicious in general. Yeah, but you never know. These players, they could be players who don't play much on League Chess. They could be like 2500 on chess.com, and then they don't play much on League Chess. Like, I know that there are these type of players, and they exist. And actually, I used to be another one of these guys, like the other way around. I was like 2600 on League Chess, my other account. Yeah. And, yeah. I was like 2200 on chess.com. I was smashing the other 2600s on chess.com. And they must have thought that, you know, something was wrong and they should do the procedure. What? White lost on time? How did that happen? Oh no. Oh no. It was so easy. Rook h7 was winning. Oh no. This is tragic. This is really tragic. And so You Know Nothing has won somewhat undeservedly, I should say. Wow, Young has made progress. Queen a4. So I'm curious, can you take this guy? Bishop takes, queen takes. Okay, I mean, white has at least draw. But I don't see what you're supposed to do, because rook c8 and king h7. It's not a big deal, right? Rook c8, king h7, and yeah, it's gonna lead to simplifications, right? I mean, it's gonna be a draw, this. Oh, maybe not. The pawn on h3 is still hanging. Oh, I got it. You take on b4, then you play g4 first. This is very important that you start with g4, so that that pawn can be taken. No, but then rook b1. No, but then the rook is hanging. What am I talking about? No, okay, rook c8. I'm not sure about this. Takes. No, but it's still fine. It's still g4. Still g4 again. And then you take this guy. Somehow I thought black could play rook b1 and move the bishop in one move. Obviously, that's not gonna happen. Not unless Akadi changes the rules. Yeah, this is again. Wait, what is going on? Rook h1, check. Maybe the king runs to f4. Maybe it's safe there. It's a bit dodgy for white, I agree, but maybe it's safe. Yeah, maybe it just about works. Oh, wait, king f4, is there rook g2? f3, rook f2? What's going on there? Well, he doesn't do it. Oh, he's threatening g5. Oh, this is nasty. Rook c7. Okay, so it's pinning stuff. It's pinning stuff. So it's surviving for now, but barely. Okay, how is black supposed to get g5? I don't know how. His king has got to be off the 7th rank to do that. But how is he going to do that? Okay, so he goes for the other plan of playing rook takes f2, which I think makes a lot of sense. f3, rook f2. This is unpleasant. You might have to go bishop e2. That's the only way to defend it, right? Yep, he finds it. Rook takes, f takes e4. Maybe this just holds. Maybe this is just holding. Bishop e2 is a great find, by the way. It's not the most obvious. They don't play bishop d1 now. I think actually white's out of the woods. King g3 is gonna come, and white's in no trouble at all. Yeah, no, that white's gonna hold it unless he loses on time. But I mean, Rayon's actually very fast in these situations. Like I remember in his previous game against Ritesh, he was very fast. So I don't think that's gonna be a problem for him. He played rook c1 even. Don't move though. Okay, Blitz bishop a4. And maybe he's trying to go for the win. I'm not sure he should be doing that. Okay, he should just defend it. Yeah, rook c3. Okay, that's nothing. Can even play h4. Okay, Blitz bishop e5. Try and go bishop d3. You can go bishop d3 even. Yeah, yeah, he does it. Obviously, don't take this pawn because check and take the rook. And so black's gonna exchange stuff and they can agree a draw even. Yeah. Probably Ritesh is a bit upset. He doesn't want to agree a draw. I try h5. I'm not sure h4 was necessary. Yeah. It's natural, but I don't think it was necessary, actually. Now black maybe gets tiny bit of chances. Of course, it's not enough for anything much. But you never know. With 2 seconds on the clock, I've seen stranger things happen. It seems like they're going for a repetition. No, Ritesh decides to play on. He should, I think. King takes g4. Oh, he plays f takes g4. Okay. f5. I'm not sure about what white's doing. Because now he's allowing something like king h5. This could get unpleasant. Like, I've won these type of positions as black before. So, you know, I don't think this is the right approach. Okay, but with the king on... yeah, now it should be fine. Wow, Rayon is actually playing for it. This is epic. So, this is maybe... He's trying to look for payback for what's happened. That is he going to overpress? Maybe not. There's h5. Yeah, he plays king e5. Well, wow, okay. So, somehow he's managed to squeeze out this, which is really remarkable already, given where he started from. d5, maybe he's got to play f4. Yeah, what else are you going to do? g6, king h6 seems to be just about holding. But okay, the d pawn is very fast too. f3, d7, f2. What's happening? Both sides are going to queen at the same time, but the black... Oh, but g6 is wins! g6, king h6, and queen... Oh, what is this? Queen takes h4. Nice. Yeah, that opens diagonal. Wow. What a game. What an epic game. Yeah. Beyond description, simply. We have a final game between Titan and Tamil. This one's going to go on for about a minute or so. I know, these guys, they don't like draws and they're going to play it out. But there's not much to be said. It's just a draw. Yeah, let's call it a day and let's move on to the next game. Yeah, I know we're a bit behind schedule. We should have been on track to finish by 10, but we started 25 minutes late. Yeah, and I only have myself to blame for that. Sorry, I should apologize yet again. Okay, so yeah. Okay, this one's gonna be a draw. It's gonna be dead draw. King to grab the pawn. Keep the opposition. Every kindergarten player knows how to draw this. Be careful though. Think. Okay, yeah, this is fine. Okay. Yeah, take and king g2, yeah. Just don't go king g2 now. Never pre-move king g2 because you can do this nasty stuff. Yeah. Okay, so this is draw. It's just an easy draw. Yeah, not much else to say. This one is not going anywhere special. Okay, so what else is going on? Yeah, I think Ritesh must have been livid there. I mean, he was pressing the whole game, and before you know it, yeah, it's just worse. Which is not the situation you want to find yourself in. All right. And then, like, when you're worse, then you don't, and your opponent just like plays a perfect game. Yeah, what are you gonna do? Such is life, and such is the game of chess. Really, you can't really say too much about it. It is how the game works. What can I say? Okay, so we are on to round number 5, and we're gonna see some very interesting matchups here. So we have You Know Nothing against Len. Wait, didn't You Know Nothing lose just now, or did he not? No, he did not lose. No, he didn't lose. I must have been mistaken. Oh yeah. Oh, he was the guy who, well, he was that close to losing, like centimeters, millimeters away from losing. But his opponent ran out of time in a position that any kindergartner could have won easily. So That was a lucky escape, most certainly. There's no other way to put it. Knight d5. Okay, is that... Wait. No, that's fine. Bishop g6 is knight c3. That's the point. So that doesn't work. Knight takes, queen takes. Okay, so Lan is actually doing pretty well. Well, is that knight d4? What? Did he just blunder? Is that a blunder? It looks like a blunder to me. Looks like a blunder. It smells like a blunder. Oh, he takes the pawn on e5. Okay, this is just as good. Probably. Bishop e4 is the only move. That's miserable. It's absolutely miserable. This bishop takes e4 first, yeah. Knight takes e5 might have to be played, because otherwise it's too ugly. But then you just go bishop d5 and... Oh my goodness. It's two bishops, pawn up, rook's gonna come to c8 and to c2. Yeah, it's not fun. It's really, really not fun. What else can I say? Knight d3, you can play e6. It's really not fun. Knight d7, okay, so rook e8. Does it? Rook a d8 is coming. Let's see what white can do about this. I honestly don't know. Yeah, there's nothing really. Bishop g5, I mean, you have to try something like that, but yeah, it's miserable. Yeah, can't play even f6 exactly. Yeah, you're closing your bishop for now, but yeah, you're gonna play rook d8. No, I win rook c8. Whatever you want to do. There is knight c5, so it's still not that easy. But of course, it should be good. Knight c5, just go bishop c8. Then you can play e5 and maybe kick that knight away with something like bishop f8 in the near future. That should be very, very good for black. Okay, f5. So opening this diagonal. Yeah, white takes, of course. Yep, this looks absolutely fine. Rook a5. Okay. So white is fighting. White is fighting very hard. And now actually it seems he's got some compensation. It still must be very good for Lan. But yeah, it's not that simple anymore. Lan is, by the way, Archie Vargus, the current defending champion. He's on 4 out of 4 and is looking to make it 5 out of 5, which would give him a massive boost going into the deciding rounds. King f7. Okay, that's what you need to do actually in these start positions, because there's no immediate blow, killer blow, so you just gotta play normal moves, keep the time advantage, because the time advantage is paramount in these blitz games, because when it gets down to the time scramble, the 2-second increment is simply not enough. So you have to make sure that you keep enough time so that you don't run into some crazy scramble and, you know, and then bad things can happen and accidents can happen. That's how you start to hear things like, oh, I was winning and then with 1 second I got flagged, or some nonsense like that I've heard a million times. Yeah. Not that I'm not unsympathetic, but it's more common than you'd think for those people who are complaining about these things. And really the key reason is that these players are playing too slowly, and then when they get into time trouble, then, you know, everything bad happens. So you can see these really good players like Len keep such a big time advantage. Even now he's keeping a nice time advantage. He really doesn't let his opponents get lower than him on the clock. And now I think that's really going to pay off. So, okay, rook d1 is... Whoa, it's almost made, yeah? Rook d1, king h2, and h4. You could check first, and... Well, actually, check it. Bishop h4 was made on the spot. Rook h1 and bishop h4 was made. It missed mate in two. What a joke. Yeah, you could have played rook h1. Oops. Rook h1, king g3, and given checkmate on h4. That was checkmate. Oh well, it's still checkmate. Rook h1. Oh, I wouldn't be too harsh on him. He found another checkmate. That's fair enough. But white has to give up both rooks and the bishop to stop mate. Okay, so this one is over. How is Rayon doing? Rayon's the only other guy who can catch him. And he's playing against Atlet, the other Filipino. Sorry, the other Indonesian. And he's a queen down. How did that happen? I'm just curious. How did he lose a queen for nothing? Oh, I feel his pain. I feel his pain, man. Oof. 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 Yeah, I can't bear to watch this. So Aji is gonna be the sole leader, and then we're gonna have a huge group of guys chasing him from a point behind, including Atlet, Rayang, probably Ritesh. I haven't checked Ritesh's game. Oh, what is going on? So these are three pieces for the queen, but the I mean the white pawns are a mess. The queen is active, and the white king is not castled. So white has some problems he has to solve if he's going to, claim that he's doing well. I'm a greedy guy. I'm thinking of taking that pawn on a7. It's probably really bad, and Ritesh probably made the right decision not to take it. Knight c3 hitting the queen. I mean, queen d4 though, I mean, something like that. You have to be very careful when you're playing against the knights, because the knights are just such tricky pieces. And yes, white may be worse, but one wrong move, and whoops, that knight is going to take the queen. There's going to be some nasty fault. So, you have to be very, very careful in this case. That's why I wasn't sure about putting the king on d7. I think I would have rather put it on e7, where it's harder to, fault the king and queen. Because I always get nervous when the king and queen are like a knight's distance away from each other. Like, that's unnerving. Okay, queen d4. Probably Ritesh is gonna hit the queen. I don't know how. You can play knight b5. Yeah, I don't know what else he's gonna do. You can play rook c1, but I mean, it looks good for black. It's rook c8. It's great. It's great news for black. So, what's white gonna do? I don't know. Plays knight b5. So, of course, he's okay with repetition. I don't think he has any business playing this on, and black of course doesn't want the repetition. This is correct to play on, of course. Queen g4. So what's the idea? And queen f5 maybe? It's hard to say. Okay, I mean black's idea is also, I think I get what black's trying to do. He's just trying to tie the white pieces down, and he's gonna just say, okay, next move I'm going to like activate my pieces. Maybe I might put a king on e7 where it doesn't get checked, and then I'll kick you with a6. Well, Ritesh has none of it. He's having none of it. He's trying to chase the queen asap. I guess you want to put the queen somewhere where it can't be hit that easily, like h5 or g5. That also works, hitting it, and you hit the knight as well, so that's an added bonus. Now, where's the knight gonna go? I mean, the knight just has to be careful not to get, not to get lost, because you play knight. I'm not sure. Maybe knight d4 runs into b5. Yeah. And if this knight moves, then it could be queen e5 check, and the knight could be lost in one move. So you have to be very, very careful about this. Like, you have to play knight e2, and then it sucks. So d4. Wow. Okay, so you can't take on b5 because of knight e5. Okay, that's a good move. At least it appears to be a good move. Yeah. Sometimes in chess moves may not be as good as they seem, but this appears to be a good one. Now, what can you do? Maybe I can consider something like rook c8. So, I mean, I'm thinking of some sort of rook takes c4 even, and queen takes g2. So, destroying the white position. White's pieces also look extremely fragile. I could even consider king e7. Oh, it does go king e7. And that knight is hanging right now, so white has to do something about it. What is he going to do? That's the question. I have no idea. Maybe he can put the knight back to... He might have to bring the knight back to c3. It's not what you want to do, but it might be what you have to do. Yeah, and yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Maybe rook a8, threatening rook takes c4 and rook c8. That looks like the most natural move to me. I would do it instantly, and he does it. Not instantly, but he does it. Okay, this is looking very, very bad for Ritesh. It's looking almost disastrous. In fact, I don't see how you're supposed to, like, deal with this. Honestly, it looks really terrible. Knight e4, perhaps? It doesn't look great, does it? Knight e4, queen f4 is the problem. And stuff starts to hang. Bishop d3. Okay, now he's, like, begging for rook takes c4. Bishop takes c4, rook c8, and maybe his idea is to play knight e4. Okay, so maybe he's prepared a counter trap to that, yeah? Is there any way we can refute this idea? I can't seem to really believe in it, I'll be honest with you. But there's queen takes g2. Okay, so that refutes it, right? So then you can take on c4. Let's see if he decides to do that. He grabs g2 right away, the greedy guy, but I'm not sure this is this right, actually? But rook f1 you can still take and play queen c6. Maybe that's his idea. That looks quite pretty as well. Okay, I mean, I'm too harsh on this guy. He's playing good moves, and he deserves full credit for them. Bishop e4, queen g5, yeah? Yeah, it's good, it's good, it's very good. King e2, still thinking of rook takes c4. I don't know why he hasn't played rook takes c4 yet. Ah, I'm almost wanting to reach across the screen and grab that knight for black. Yeah, it's so good. It's just so good. It's a free knight. Why you don't like a free knight? I don't understand. Knight e3? What are you gonna do? Okay, now the knight actually comes back. So, you can't really delay these decisions for too long, because then white might start to come back a little bit. Okay, knight e4. I guess queen h5 followed by f5 is still really good, though. Yeah, queen h5 check, king d2 or something, and then you play f5, and it looks great for black. It looks really great. Yeah, f5. There we go. Yeah. Okay, that queen on f3 looks great, as long as he doesn't get trapped. And I don't think you can trap it, you can just grab that pawn. Yeah, exactly. And knight h5, the queen can just run back to h4. And it's not a trap piece, is it? That doesn't fit the description of a trap piece, because it's not one. Okay, so what is black supposed to do now, is the question. I'm thinking something like rook d8, try hit that pawn. No, f4 is probably a better try. Yeah, I need to take that pawn. Okay, so now black's gonna win this game. There is no universe where black doesn't win it. There are like a million winning moves. F5 is one of them. It does it. Free pawn and free knight. And that's GG's. Okay. And we call this a win for black. Are there any more interesting games? Rayon is still playing, but he's not going to be playing for long. He's going to lose the rook on the spot. So that's not exactly competitive, is it? There is an interesting endgame between Aish and Pawn Pusher. So it's scary to have two rooks. I don't think he should have done that. I think he should have tried something like rook a2. He had to keep the two rooks because one of the only reason black has any winning chances is because that white king is so weak. So he had to kick some stuff on the board. But okay, the black pawn is still further advanced. So this is still a dangerous endgame for white. I think white should have maybe tried to give up pawn out, something like rook g8. That would have been probably the easiest way to draw. Because now check and then you get king e2. Oh, but this is nothing. You play rook h8. You play rook h8, then you can even go back. Okay. Okay, so White is doing his best to try to lose this endgame, but I don't think he will be successful. King e2 and g3. White is really trying hard to lose this. He's really doing his best to lose this, isn't he? Rook c3 check. Okay, plus g2. That's fine as well. I think actually White might get his wish and actually lose it. Because king g1, king f1 is coming. Yeah, king g1 is gonna come, of course. What else are you doing? I gotta play king g1. Check king f2. Oh, they can't play king f2 because queens. Okay, so now you can play king g1, yeah? What? Oh, yeah, that seems to work as well. Okay, yeah, that works as well because, yeah, white queens, then black gets mate with some sort of queen d4 check, yeah? And like some mate like this, queen d4, king f5. Okay, if king g5, then rook g3. Okay, queen f2. I mean, just any check probably wins. Yeah, queen c2 and grab the rook is probably simplest. Forcing instant resignation. But no, black is going to give his opponent, maximum amount of hope. Even though there's no hope. Oh, don't tell me this is gonna be no, there's no, it's a queen g4. Okay. I didn't want that to be a queen versus rook endgame. That would be a disaster for the tournament. It'll take forever for us to finish. Don't tell me he's playing two mate, but yeah, of course he doesn't play two mate. So, yeah, 5 rounds out of 8, and we have a clear leader in RG Bagus. Yeah, if he wins this, it'll be a hat trick of victories. Second, third, and fourth editions all in one. Amazing stuff, yeah? Okay, let's see. Okay, we have RG against Rhea. Unfortunately, Rhea lost, but Rhea can actually come back if he wins this game. Now, the tiebreak is not personal encounter. The Lee Chess tiebreak used is Sonnenberger, which is not a tiebreak I'm a big fan of, but you can't really change the Lee Chess side tiebreak. So You have to make do with it. First tiebreak, by the way, is Sonnenberger, and the second tiebreak is performance rating. And that will be the tiebreak criteria upon which you will be distributing the prizes. We'll be distributing the prizes strictly according to tiebreak. No hot system, because frankly, it's a nightmare to calculate the prizes. And also, I don't fully understand how it works. So, yeah, no hot system. Castles. Okay, Len is playing very safe. Okay, it's going for bishop b2. It's going for e4. And this is one thing I realized about a lot of these players who are successful in these these Blitz events. They have an opening that they use a lot in Rapid and Blitz games. And it's a decent opening. Like, I mean, recently I've been playing d4, b5, and e4, a6. This weekend I've played an unholy amount of d4, b5 games, even against Jun Ying himself. I played a3 against Kavit, but yeah. Generally not the kind of opening you want to have. You want to have something that's more solid, more ambitious than that. Yeah. And one that will give you easy plans that you can use. Okay, so this is really Len's favorite setup. He likes to get this Stonewall style structure where he gets a knight on e5. And I'm not sure actually whether I done this correctly. Because if e5, then what's going to play knight takes e4 probably? Whoa, it takes on e5. What? What? This feels very suspicious. Bishop takes e4. I mean, this looks good. If e takes d5, we have at minimum bishop takes h7, which gives us a winning attack. King takes h7, f takes e5. We basically have a great give, but where we didn't sacrifice any material. Knight g6 is really bad. You can play d takes e6. Oh, that is a disgusting position to look at. Bishop takes e4, you can take and take back. How many pawns is that? We have 7 pawns against 5. And we're 2 pawns up. We're 2 pawns up for nothing. So, or maybe not for nothing. You get knight takes f4, but it's still, yeah, it's still down a pawn. Yeah. Rook d1. Okay, this is accurate. Okay, because not bishop takes c4 because of knight f4, but rook d1. So it's gonna take this for free. This is actually some very nice chess. If queen d5, I think that you just calmly drop back knight g3, right, and then take that pawn. That looks like a good way to continue. And I don't really see what white can do against this very simple plan. Queen c7 is definitely not the right, not a way to test white, but I don't think such a way existed in any case. The position was just too bad for us to have any chances. And let's be honest, if Lan wins this game, it's kind of clincher, yeah? Because it's played like almost all the top players, almost all the strong players have played with Lan, and it's gonna be a full point up. Or at least a full point up. It might be 2 points up ahead of some of his rivals like Ray Young. So, yeah. Great performance. Bishop c5. Okay, so rook c3. Defending against bishop takes e3 check. Because obviously you can't take with the queen because of mate. But now you can take with the rook. So, rook d7. Now, Ray Young is a fighter. He's trying to play rook d8 and get into d2. That's not going to be easy. It's going to be a lot of moves to get that. But at least he's fighting. Okay, it's going to double and try for rook d2. There's nothing else to try for. It's got to try to create some tiny practical chances. It's not going to be enough, but, it is what it is. You got to try it, right? Rook c2. Okay, makes perfect sense defending against that. Is there rook d1? But rook d1, there is no threat, right? Like, knight takes g2 isn't even a threat. Rook takes f1 can be met with knight takes f1. So that's like no threat. Yeah. No, rook d1 you can actually take twice because the rook defends the pawn. Yeah. Okay, so I'm blundering as well. Okay. Then there is nothing. There is simply nothing to show for all this material that has left the board. And black's gonna win this easily. It's not even interesting anymore. Let's go into another game. How's nothing doing, right? Nothing is getting destroyed. Rook takes g6 1-0. Yes. Wow. Who is this pawn pusher guy? Whoever he is, he's a genius. What else can I say? He only lost once to Ritesh. How's Ritesh doing though? I can't find actually Ritesh. I don't know where Ritesh is. Maybe he's down there. He's only lost one game, right? Oh no, he's lost twice. What did he lose to? Oh yeah, forgot. It lost to Smurf as well. It lost to Smurf and Rhea. Not a great start. But okay, still 8 more rounds. 6 out of 8 will be enough for a prize, almost certainly. Because we have lots of under 18 prizes. So even if you're not doing that well now, you can still get the under 18 and under 12 prizes. So there's no reason for you to feel upset about this. Yeah? Okay. Cool, Ian Poe. We haven't actually covered this guy yet. And he's doing really well. He's doing really well. He's going to grab that pawn on v2, unless I'm missing something. Knight d2 might be the way to do it. Or knight c5. Maybe he has to play something like knight c5. A rook takes v2 its only move, because otherwise b4 is going to be nasty. And then white plays knight takes c4. Okay, maybe it's not as well as I thought it was, because there's knight f6 coming up. But after king f8, I'm sure black has very, very nice compensation. It's not enough for advantage, of course, but it should be enough for nice position. Okay. So, yeah, let's see. Let's see what black ends up with. Okay. He has to take on b2. He must take that pawn on b2. There's no way he can survive without grabbing that pawn, right? So that's what he does. He grabs that pawn. Rook a d1, threatening rook d8. Wow, black is playing well here. White is playing very well here. Actually, what does black do? Does black even have a defense? Wow. Okay, that's an easy move to miss. Rook d1. Rook d8 and rook takes c4. Disastrous position. Maybe you gotta play king f8. Plays rook f8. Okay. Now what? You know, my opinion of this position keeps switching because it's not that easy to evaluate, of course, because black is a pawn down and he has some issues with his back rank and his bishop doesn't have any great squares for the moment. But okay, black does have the active rook on b2, so it's not that easy to win. Try something like rook c2. There are still practical chances. As long as black is surviving, there are always practical chances in these type of positions. Bishop g4 hitting the rook on d1. Well, what's he gonna do? Plays rook e1. Okay, so some ideas, most certainly. Maybe one idea is to take that pawn on a7. I mean, he might take the pawn right on the next move. He doesn't do anything. He has to play rook c2, right? Rook c2, rook a7, rook c3. I mean, you can't really just move the knights in like knight e4. That pawn is gonna go. It's unpleasant. Okay, we'll come back to this, but it's looking nice for white. It's not gonna be an easy win, but it's gonna be a win. Is Lan already winning? Yeah, Lan's crushing. Is absolutely crushing. There are many ways to win. What? 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 What just happened? Did he just hang his queen in one move? No. No, that did not happen. I mean, it's a mouse slip, yeah? But then where was he trying to put his queen? Was he trying to put it at f5? I'm not sure where he was trying to put his queen out. Or maybe he just thought that it was winning, yeah? But then he forgot that he miscounted. Maybe he thought it was just winning, it was just checkmate. But GF, rook f8, and black is a rook up. So the only choice now is for white to play fast and black, yeah? Because there's no other way. What you gonna do? The problem is that there are pre-moves, yeah? Rook f7, and you can just pre-move rook f1. That's how good it is. Yeah, exactly. This guy is good. He's gonna pre-move rook takes f1, pre-move bishop f4 check. Oh, I mean, you don't even need bishop f4 check. Just grab it. See, the pre-moves come very fast. Young is a very fast player. Wow. This means that after a shocking blunder, tournament is wide open. There are now 4 leaders. And after calling it for RG, I jinxed it. Commentators curse. Commentators curse. What else can I say? And yeah, we have a Malaysian among the leaders in Rayong. Lucky win. It's almost as lucky as that game where the guy lost on time in a winning position. No, it was actually luckier. Yeah, because this guy was so much stronger. By the way, white's gonna win this game. There's no question. Go and grab this pawn. It's not even close. Oh, is it close? There's rook c2. Jack, king g8. How do you win this? You gotta play rook c2, right? What are you gonna do? You gotta play rook c2. Take king g8. Oh, but it is rook g7. Oh, oh, that's finished. Rook f8 is finished. Checkmate. Oh, it doesn't see it. Oh, but it's fine. It's still fine. He gets rook takes g6 and it wins. Maybe you try h4 for some stalemate ideas. I don't know how you can give up both rooks. It doesn't seem possible to give them both up. Uh, I don't think there are stalemate ideas. Yeah, there are definitely no stalemate ideas now. Okay, king h8. I thought you at least try to put a king on h8 to get stalemate ideas, but there's no way. Okay, that was too many pawns. It's actually 3 pawns too many. 4 pawns too many. Is that the last game? Are there any more games? Let's see. There is oh, this is interesting. Chess viewer against Tamion Chelvan. So white has 2 pieces for the rook and 2 pieces of the pawn for the rook. But rook d1 is a big threat. So what are you supposed to do? Rook takes a2 is also another big threat. Knight f3. Oh, that looks good. King g2 and there's a check on e2, but you can hide on h3. It appears rook h5, king g4. It seems to be holding. Queen e2, king g1. So okay. I mean, white is probably doing what repeat once. Oh, it plays king f2. Okay, this is another nice way to avoid repetition. And actually, you can see the knight protects the king very, very well. And this is one technique that I actually tell my students here. When the knight's next to the king, it's a great way to protect the king because almost always black has just no checks. The opponent has no checks. And knight is just such a great defender of the enemy king. Sorry, of our king. Is such a great defender of our own king. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I'm stuttering. Yeah, had a long day. That's all I can say. Knight f3. This is great technique from white. I'm very proud. Yeah, to see such technique. Knight e5, king g8, and queen a8, and no, queen c6 first maybe. Or you do that, and then queen c6. Yeah, I mean, this is a win. That's all I can say. This is impressive. Oh, but it actually it's just mate. You can't even play rook f8. You can just take it. Yeah, I forgot the bishop was on a3. And that finishes the game. Are there any more games? Well, not any that are interesting. So again, we're going to take a quick 30-second break and we'll be back in no time. By the way, I decided to come back a bit early because I just realized somebody has decided to throw his opponent and now he's struggling to win. So, yeah, made karma perhaps. He might be getting pretty close to the 50 move roll, right? Is he not? I think he's starting to get close to the 50 move roll. You better get this done properly, otherwise... Well, I think you got to try to bring your king a bit closer. He's really struggling to win this. King f7 is really struggling. The idea is that you usually just use the bishop to slowly cut off the king. But you don't want your bishops to be too close. Yes, we want to move your bishops a little bit further. Wait. Okay. This trolling might be getting a bit much, yeah? The thing is that actually 2 bishops, they aren't the most straightforward win. That's the funny thing. How did we actually get the two bishops? Was it even necessary? Oh, I guess it was necessary after all. What's happened? Stalemate. Right. Oh, so it's not any trolling. There was just no way to avoid it. Two bishops against. Yeah, sorry for implying that there was any disrespect going on. Because usually when these type of things happen, it's because of some sort of player, trying to promote the two bishops, and then after that they regret their decision. So yeah, don't do that unless you're 100% sure you know what to do. Otherwise, it could come back to bite you in the face, and that's not a fun way to do it. Okay, so let's look at the Rayang's game against Kumar. Well, actually, Rayang's games don't really start in that interesting way, so we'll see. We'll see. So Kumar is well, he's on how many points? I think he's on yeah, I think he's on 5 out of 6, right? So it's part of this massive tie for first place. Yeah, it's actually an Indian player. It's 1900 in India, which basically means like 2150 in any other place. Yeah. Or maybe not in Malaysia. In Malaysia, there are a lot of 1900s who play like 2100s. In a sense, we are at least as bad as India. Yeah. Okay. So, Stonewall. Knight f3, knight f6, g3. Yeah. By the way, what can I say? I mean, Rayang, his rating is like, I think, low 1800s, but you can see from his play, he's not, yeah? He's not actually 1800, yeah? No 1800 plays like that. Yeah. b5, c6. And I mean, it's not, you cannot say anything suspicious because he plays like that in actual tournaments as well, like in over the board events. So, I mean, you can go check out some of his games on Malaysian chess. You can see they're very impressive games and they're over the board. So, definitely a player to watch out for in the near future. Could be our next big talent. Could be the next Fu Yuqian, who knows? Don't wanna, of course, you wanna be. I don't want to say too much. Of course, a lot of things can happen. And becoming, a strong player is not just about your natural talent or your knack for working on a game. It's also about whether you have the financial ability or whether you want to commit to such a lifestyle. Because the fact is that it's not for everyone. Yeah, being a chess player is not for everyone. And if it's not for you, then it's not for you. Yeah. So these kids, they may be prodigies, but it takes a lot for a player to go from being a prodigy to a strong grandmaster. It's a long and labored process. Bishop e2, knight d7. Okay, castles. So we have actually a nice version of the Stonewall, but I think black's getting what he wants. Yeah, if there's queen h, well, you can't really get queen h5. Now I'm thinking of it. Yeah, so I mean, you can, but it's always a bit awkward, this bishop on e2. So maybe he's going to kick him with h6 and go for like g5, but you kick him with h6, maybe he goes back to f4. Okay, maybe black will go for knight e4. That will be black's plan. Okay, yeah, black's going to play knight e4. Probably. Not 100%, but probably. Okay, so he does play knight e4. Bishop f4, I reckon, and then he's going to go back to e7. This is going to be something like that, yeah? It's going to be something along those lines. Okay, bishop h4. What's going to do now? I'm not sure about the bishop on h4. I think I would have gone to f4. I don't really mind like getting these double f pawns because, yeah, I do get rid of your dark square bishop, which helps me control the dark squares a lot. But, I mean, one thing about Rayang that I've noticed, he doesn't really like to give even the tiniest positional concessions, even in cases where it could be good for him. Okay, b4. Okay, I mean, that bishop on h4 is a bit loose, but for now, wait, is there a way to trap it? No, g5, bishop g3, if f4 we can take and put a bishop on h4. So that's not a real way to trap it. Okay, so b4, his idea is straightforward. He wants to play c5 followed by b5. And, create some play here on the queen side. I guess you can do that now, right? What else are you going to do? I mean, what is Flex idea? He wants to take and play like knight e4. But I don't see how we're supposed to stop that. That's the thing. I think we just have to allow it and go for stuff on the queen side, but I'm not sure about b5. I mean, can black go greedy? I would be tempted to go greedy if I was black. and black does go greedy. It's too tempting, that pawn. I'll be honest with you, I would never be able to resist such a juicy pawn. Like, just looking at it just makes my mouth drool. Bishop d6, maybe. And, okay. Now, black's idea behind knight f6 is really to take on c3 and put the other knight on e4. And that will be what black does on the next few moves. There's no question. In my mind, there is no question about that. Okay, let's come back to this game, but I think we can see that we can probably see it's very good for black. How are the others doing? Wow. Pawn pusher. Who is this guy? Okay, but he's doing badly. He's not doing great. Yeah. I thought he was doing well, but someone managed to lose his queen. And again, this is a terrible pawn in game. He's going to take on a2. So Lan's going to come back, yeah? After an unexpected loss. He's going to come back. Knight f4. It's not really played. But no, with knight f4, you can take and play rook b2. And I actually grab the... no, knight f4 takes. You can't even move the bishop. I forgot. The bishop's pinned. So this is a disaster. If you play a4, I can... No, but now I can take this guy. Quite happily take this guy. And if knight b4, I can even play rook b2. Bishop b7, rook b3. And I win. End of story. Knight e3, bishop c8. Finish. Nothing left. Yeah, it's finished, this game. It's not interesting. Let's go into something more interesting. Let's see if there are any more interesting games. Okay, we have Athlete against Chess Viewer. Chess Viewer with Horsey. So bishop d2. I guess black's idea is to play knight h7 to g5. I'm not sure he's done this. He's done this correctly because knight g5. Now you can play queen h4 because the queen is defended. This is actually a very nice technique. So he's done it actually very, very well. Can black... I don't know what black can do, actually. Bishop h4 is a crushing threat. It's a crushing threat. Knight g5, queen takes h4. Alright, black is getting crushed. Why are all these games so one-sided? There's not even any suspense in them. But I say that, you know, I'm waiting for a blunder. I'm waiting and hoping for a blunder. I know it's going to be good content. Yeah. Okay. So... here there's also nothing. Black's crushing. Edmund is of course very strong. Any other games? I don't know. I don't really see any other great games. Who is this Magnus Carlsen Hikaru guy? He's playing well. Okay. What other games do we have? Well, there's been some progress in the Kumar game. And it's not a good situation for Rhea. We were saying it's good for black, and it's only got better. Like the bishops are now active. The a pawn is starting to move. I think knight a4 had to be played because otherwise black could even push the pawn to a4, knight a4 and c5, and that knight could be in trouble. So rook b8. Okay, so rook might be coming in. How? I don't know. But yeah, knight c5 is played. Okay. You take and maybe you have to go rook a8 back. You have to defend that pawn. But now white gets knight d4. I'm not sure about this operation in rook b8. I feel like white has improved his position. Yeah, like now we can be some sort of maybe knight d4, and you can think of like bringing the rook this way, or even play like queen a4, or he plays queen d4. Okay, so if a4 he wants to go rook a2 and grab that pawn. Queen e7, so he's trying to tie white down to this pawn before he pushes his a pawn. But white's having none of it. He plays rook a1. And we still can't play a4 because then, let's say you play a4, I can take queen a4. And if you play knight takes c5, I can pin you with queen b4. So rook a7. Okay, so it's trying to double on the a4 to support this pawn. And knight e5. Knight g6 is a threat. I guess rook a8 is totally moved. Yeah, it is played. I'm actually not sure about white's decisions because, yeah, I guess white is rerouting his knight, but he's also letting the pawn go, which is risky. But maybe his idea is a very ambitious one. Or not maybe, but definitely his idea is a very ambitious one. He wants to just say, okay, I'm going to grab that pawn, do your worst. Bishop d1. Where is that bishop going? I'm actually not sure where the bishop is going. Rook a5. So black is trying to grab this pawn. That makes perfect sense. Queen b4. Okay, so queen b4. We're finally seeing this move. Oh, that's why he played bishop d1. So stop rook a4. So queen b4, he wants to take on a3 without allowing rook a4. And if knight c5, I think he wants to play rook a3. And he's trying to say that black's pieces are completely pinned. Which I think he has a great point there. Because it does look like stuff is getting pinned. I don't understand that. Why didn't he take on a3? Now this is terrible. Rook d1 and I mean it's lost. Yeah, you can even push c5, right? Now c5 king h2. Maybe that's not over yet. Yeah, c5 king h2. It's not over yet. But it's very bad. Like even just bringing a king, it's a disaster. Yeah. That c pawn is gonna go sooner rather than later. So, it's pretty disgusting. c5. Okay, the king h2 is gonna be played, of course. g4. Okay, so I mean we're seeing this again. Yeah, Rio is a good defender, but I think this might be a little excessive, even for his. Or maybe it's not excessive. Bishop f3 is coming to take that pawn if he plays king f7. Bishop e6 was a threat. So, oh, but now bishop f3 can play king e6, right? No, but now the c pawn just pushes. Yeah. It's just it's bad. It's really bad. c3 and he's pushed to c2 and it's a disaster. No. Yeah, it's a disaster. There's not anything else to say. You can push the pawn to c2, and if rook d2, you play bishop a4. That's the problem. Yeah, now you play c2, threatening to move the rook, and if rook b2, bishop a4. That's the easiest way. It's too easy. Okay, so black's gonna win this game. Anything else? Are there any more interesting games? That was the only... Oh, there's another game. Yeah, ChessFM. ChessFM is in big trouble. ChessFM is actually up a lot on the clock, but... You know, that's the thing. Yeah, I don't think it matters because his position is so bad. And white's moves are easy. That is the problem. White's moves are just so easy. By the way, you can't even take this guy because I have queen takes g5. Maybe not. Rook takes queen g5, we could go king f8. So maybe that was what he did. This is absolutely right. And now we can take this. Because now if the king moves, now we grab the free rook and we win. Okay, so back to the event. What else is going on? There's still some more games. This is, by the way, this is the penultimate round. Yeah, it's 7 out of 8. So just one more round and we're gonna be done. So I expect we'll be done by about 10:20 or so. That seems like the time will be done. Rayong is fighting, by the way. He is amazing. This is amazing. Yeah, this is the sign of a strong player, that they don't give up, even if their position looks absolutely disgusting, or more disgusting than disgusting could ever think of. But they fight on, and yeah, more often than not, they're gonna lose. But when they get the victory, they're gonna look like a genius. I'm surprised he didn't play bishop takes g6. That looked so good. Bishop takes g6 looked really good, no? Maybe he didn't see that the pawn was... Hang on, maybe he just wants to go for the rook endgame. Yeah, but now actually rook endgame looks unpleasant, yeah? King d6, rook g7. Oh, this is ambitious. I'm thinking, can I actually do this and play king d7? Maybe that wins for me. Check, king c5, and I bring my king to support the pawn. You gotta give check. You can't... Oh, interesting. So c2 wants to play rook c8. I did this with so little time. Rook g7 check. Whoa! Mouse slip. Oh no. Oh, what a disaster. Yeah. Just as he was coming back, he makes a horrendous mouse slip, and that's gonna end the game. What a tragic way to lose the game. And yeah, gotta feel for him. It's a tough way to lose. He hasn't even got the best tiebreak. That's the worst thing. Okay, so yeah, one more game. This one's absolutely won. And whoa, this one is interesting. Because is it possible to force the knight out? I think it should be possible. I just don't understand why he's not playing king v7. He has to play king v7 at some point, right? Oh, 95. 95. This is it. This is just epic. This is the most epic knight endgame I've ever seen. 96 check, king c6. Yeah, king c6, okay. Let's go. Knight d8, king c7. Misses a simple deflection, and then yeah, now everything goes crazy. Oh, hell breaks. Just don't repeat. Yes, knight f7, okay. Knight a8. I mean, now you gotta win it from scratch again. Just be careful, don't repeat, yeah. Because yeah, we are dangerously close to repetition at this point. Yeah, it's gonna be like some sort of repetition, yeah. Right. So he had an easy. Then the knight was on b4, he could have just checked and like takes queen. That was the way to win. Okay, final round. So what are the standings? We have Lan and Athlete tied at the top. 6 points each. And moving down, we have Kumar, was also on 6 with a slightly worse tiebreak. Yeah. So all the leaders are not Malaysian. But we have Edmund. So Edmund's our last hope. Hoping Edmund can pull an upset against Kumar. That would be great. Okay. So Lan against Athlete. So we have an all-Indonesian matchup for the title, I guess. I mean, the winner of this is probably going to win the title. Yeah, because I don't think that... Yeah, I don't think that that Kumar can catch them in terms of tiebreak. So if there's a decisive result here, then that's going to be for the tournament. Okay, so we have we have a queen's this bishop b4 check. Oh, the Vogel, that's what they call it, right? The Vogel. E3. So yeah. This is actually his favorite setup because bishop d3, castles, and then he plays like queen c2, b3, bishop b2. He always likes to play this setup, Lan. You can almost tell it's Lan's game just by looking at the setup he's going for. Because no one else really likes that setup as much as Lan. This is just Lan's favorite setup. What else can I say? Right. What else is there? So let's move on to some other games. Yeah, this one is going to take some time to heat up. Let's look at Kumar. Kumar's against Edmund. And Kumar's played, typical, Italiano. Bishop g5. Okay, this is theory. Castles, knight a5. Yeah, this is still theory. Yeah, knight e2. I mean, objectively, black is doing fine, of course. But, yeah, this position is very rich, yeah? Because, of course, the f-file is open. White's idea will be somehow to use the f-file. Maybe you could think of maybe some sort of queen h4 doubling on the f-file. Those are all typical ideas that could occur in the game. Long maneuvering game ahead of us. That's we'll keep a close eye on that one as well. And we have Rayang, who after a very painful mouse slip is trying to finish strongly. And he's played some sort of hook defense. Yeah, I don't know how that happened, but he has played a hook. I mean, he knows he has to win. So, given that, I think it's a good choice because hook, of course, leads to very imbalanced positions and very complex, strategically complex play, which I think suits his style well. So, yeah, I think good opening choice, and actually, Black's got a pretty decent position because White's attack isn't coming that fast. I'm not sure he should do this, but maybe his idea is to stick it with e5. Ooh. Ah. Takes an e5. Right. That makes sense. And we're going to be in a change up as Black, right? Yeah, Rayang's got a very good tactical eye for these things. And no surprise to me that he found that. Yeah, Rayang has been on fire. By the way, just yesterday he won a pretty decently strong under 12 tournament in Damansara. So he is, I think, one of the best players in the under 12 circuit. He's in some way the Anderson of the under 12 circuit. The Anderson Ang of the under 12 circuit. In the sense that he's just really consistent in winning them all. Okay. I'm just trying to find some games where anything's going on because everybody seems to be taking our time. Nobody wants to risk anything. Well, chess viewer, like here's the thing, chess viewers games have always been so interesting, and it's no surprise to me that we've got another interesting game. This is of course very double-edged because this is allowing rook e2. So what's happening here is that white is, oh sorry, you can't play dc5 because like the rook would hang. But this is very double-edged. bc5 now something rook e2 could happen, and really what he's saying is he's gone for a very greedy approach, just grabbing pawns. But there are very little defenders. There are precious few defenders near his king, and I know it doesn't look very good, does it? Knight e3 is coming. Oh dear. Has he messed this one up? I certainly hope. I think he has actually. I hope he hasn't, but I think he has. He might have to go for something like queen b3 and like sack the queen after knight e3. But that's suffering. That's bad, and that's probably lost. So then I don't know what to recommend for him. It's not great, yeah. Yeah, he does do that, but it looks disgusting. Yeah. It looks absolutely disgusting. He's got to give his queen now. Queen takes e3. What else is he thinking about? He can't be thinking about moving the king because queen takes f3 loses more than a queen there. Probably loses his king. So yeah, he does give up his queen, but this is a terrible position. I think black's cruising here. Each player should be trying to bring a queen in, so like queen f5, queen c2 makes sense. And I think black's doing really well. Okay, so this is just not great. How's Ritesh doing? Ritesh has won. Wow, okay. Okay, so Ritesh has won. So he's guaranteed a placing. He's guaranteed himself some sort of placing, I reckon. Maybe an under 18 prize. That would be my guess. Okay, who else is there? Well, still everything to play for lots of games in progress. How's Land doing? Well, a lot of progress has been made, but it has not made the position any sharper. Both players, they're very careful. They're not really taking any risk because, of course, this is the last round. You know, all the money is at stake here. So, I mean, it's not a lot of money, let's be frank. But, I mean, I wish I could give more money, but I don't really have any sponsorship. If anyone would like to sponsor, then feel free to reach out to me. I'm welcome to all offers. But yeah, as of now, I'm not really giving that much money because I just don't have it. So bishop f5, get rook d8. Yeah. Okay, this one is looking, yeah, this is looking fine for black. Let's rook d8, rook d7. Yeah, I mean, that pawn on d3 is a passed pawn, but at the same time, white's blockading it perfectly. And these pawns, they could start to push as well. So I think, okay, in general, it should be a pretty decent position. Yeah, should be a draw. How's Kumar doing? This game is going to decide a lot. Well, Kumar has gone for a very risky approach, as far as I can see. He's got his knight to f5, and then he's also played c4, which I find, extremely risky because, you're playing on both sides this way. He's stretching himself quite thinly on either side. But he's trying to make some tactics work. So he's looking at some knight e7, which, wow, knight g3. Ooh, that's a nice shot. At least it looks like a nice one. Yeah, I guess it's a nice one. Yeah, knight takes g3, queen takes g3, and now, what might start to regret his decisions, weakening stuff. Yeah? Yeah, knight g3 is a nice shot. It's the only move, by the way. Because if you move the queen back, that's good. It's simply good. So, knight g3. Well, he's also considering h takes g5. Knight e2, king f2, knight takes c1, knight e7, check, king f8. That doesn't look great, though. Oh, queen e1. Wow. Okay, queen e1 is a great move. And now, now it's looking good for Kumar. So I take that. I take that all back about saying he was overstretching himself. Well, I think he has stretched himself just enough to get a winning position. So who am I to criticize him? G6. I mean, he's trying to get h5 to keep that knight there, but I'm thinking of just jamming h5 in myself. Queen f4. Okay, that makes perfect sense. So h5, and now maybe he's gonna. What's he gonna do? I'm not sure actually how white to make progress. I think maybe white should play c5, not to, let black get counterplay on the c file. And then later you can think of pushing the b pawn. You could think of trying to bring his queen in. Yeah, and then actually just c5 followed by queen e5 looks very convincing. King f2 also looks fine. If you take twice, if you take on c4, I'll have queen take c4 at the end. So that also looks like a good idea. Yeah, but if you don't take on c4, then what do you do? Play knight d6. It's also possible. Ace king h7. Yeah. It's still not that easy to break through, but with the king on h7, I'm actually getting very tempted by this option of g4 followed by h5. Again, I'm not sure whether it's that good, because of course it also opens our king. But yeah, I feel like if we can get the rook to h1, queen to e5, we should have a massive attack. And that should decide the game. Now, yeah, what's black go? What's the most accurate way to do this? I'm not exactly sure. I think actually I would still be inclined to play c5, honestly. I play rook c3. Okay, that's fine. So it's also another solid move. Maybe now he's trying to play queen e5. It makes perfect sense, actually, what he's trying to do. He's protecting the pawn on e3, protecting the rook, and now he's thinking of playing queen e5. The more I look at it, the more I like this option. It looks very good for... Yeah, it looks very good for white. Okay, let's go back and see if we're running interesting games. So Athlete has drawn. So actually, if Kumar wins this game, it's gonna be the champion. Which is, I think, absolutely amazing. If Kumar wins this, he wins the tournament. This is epic stuff. Okay, so Rayong has won. So what does that mean in terms of the standings? Well, there's still people who can catch him. Like, I think Edmund's gonna lose this for sure. I don't see how he can even hold this. Queen takes c4. It's still fighting. It's still fighting. So I mean, still some chances to hold this. You probably have to go rook b4, but with that passed d pawn, it should be. I mean, it should be decisive. Yeah. Yeah. So if Edmund doesn't win this, then Rayong and Ko will be in a tie for third place. Sorry, for fourth place. So first place will probably go to Kumar. Second place will be shared between second and third will be shared between the two. Yeah, the two Indonesians, and yeah, the rest of the places will be will be the Malaysians. So not a great day for the Malaysian players somehow. These Indians, they are good. What can I say? Kumar is having great tournament. I might even say it's the tournament of his life. Yeah, as a 2300, it's like crushing all these strong players. And also, he had his fair share of luck as well. Like, yeah, his opponent Mao slipping in a rook endgame in what is perhaps the most critical game of the tournament. That was lucky. So I'll say. Queen c5, that's strange. I don't think I would allow this. Because it feels weird to allow like all these unnecessary counterplay. Rook takes g2. The pawns that you can't still push the pawn because queen takes a5, you push then queen h5. So okay, rook b2. Queen d5. Okay, queen d5 is a nice centralizing move. Hitting that pawn of 7. What do you do? King g6. Makes sense as well. Queen d6. f6 e5. I thought he had to move his king back. Yeah. Now e5 is it's crushing. There's not much else to do. Maybe you can actually try to give some checks. Hope that white puts the king on an unfortunate square. Yeah. I'd give a check on b1. There's no reason to resign here. You give a check on b1 and then, hope for the best. At least try to force the king out. Actually, maybe this might work. Yeah, you check him. No, this is dead. You take and you take this guy. Is that dead? It looks dead, yes. It must be dead, yeah. Takes check, you just run to e2. And it's nothing. Not a single shred of counterplay. Queen takes h5. And this is easy. It's too easy. Too easy. And so, we will not have a repeat champion in this tournament. Yeah. We will not have a repeat by RG Bagus Wicaksono. But instead, we'll have a new champion, Kumar Mangalam. So, yeah, the dominance of Indonesians has come to an end, but the dominance of Indian players may just be starting. I'm not sure. It's just one tournament. It's hard to say. All we can say is that great job to Kumar. And Kumar literally joined at the last minute. Like he joined like 20 minutes before the start. So I guess it makes it all the more incredible, really. And that's the final standings. Everything here has been decided. So we have Kumar in first place, and second place we have Lan Aji Bagus from Indonesia, the champion of the previous two editions, but this time he has to settle for second place, being unable to win his last round game. We have athlete, Ramada Kazuno, who's in third. And in fourth place, we have Pawn Pusher, it appears, who has now surpassed Royang to clinch fourth. And in fifth place, a very surprising name. I was not expecting to see that name, but we have Ko Ian Vo. Very well done. And yeah, very pleasant surprise to see that he's doing that well. And below them, we have some regular names in our tournaments: Edmund Blas, Smurf, Aish, and these players are gonna win these special prizes. Edmund's gonna be best subscriber, and we're gonna have some under 18 and under 12 prizes for some of these guys as well. So, yeah. Okay, and we are done. So, these are the final standings, yeah? Yeah. Congratulations again to Kumar Manglam. Fantastic performance. Okay, and as to you viewers, I cannot thank you enough for your loyal support throughout this tournament. Thank you all for supporting the stream, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you very much, and I'll see you hopefully next week. In fact, I am planning a simul for some players in this event, so that will be held probably next weekend. I'll have to check my schedule and try to schedule something in, because I don't think we can do anything after the Malaysian Open starts, and I'll be too busy with that. Or maybe I might schedule something after the Malaysian Open. You know, I could do that. I could schedule something after the Malaysian Open. Maybe the week after that. But I don't know. It might be a bit long for them. Okay. Alright, thank you very much for supporting the stream, and I'll see you on the other side. Thank you, and